Villarreal. He's a candidate for District 4 Commissioner in the city of Brownsville, and he's running against Tony Zavaleta. And of course, many folks in Brownsville know John, and for those that perhaps do not, we'd like to just give a little basic information about you. First of all, John, could you give us your educational background and a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Jim. Being that I grew up here in District 4 and have lived here all my life, I attended schools here in District 4, beginning with Skinner Elementary down the street on St. Charles, Central Middle School, which is now an office building, and then I graduated in 2001 from James Pace High School. Immediately after that, I started attending UTB for my undergraduate studies, where I received a bachelor's in business administration. I majored in marketing, and I completed that degree in 2005. I then went I moved to Washington, D.C. for a semester to perform an executive internship with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. At the IRS, I was helping coordinate the marketing efforts for e-file, being that Telefile was no longer going to be continued, it was discontinued. So with the efforts to save the government money in terms of paper filing, we wanted to convert those people who telefiled into e-filers. So I worked with that. I worked with a big firm out of St. Louis. I also had some input on the redesign of the IRS.gov website, the homepage. I was offered a permanent position with the IRS, but I felt I made a good decision in turning it down to come back and help at the family business, being that my parents are not in the best health. So I took over the business, and in the evenings I continued my education here at UTB. In 2 years I completed my master's in business administration, graduating at the top of my class, and I still remain active at the university. I volunteer, I mentor students there at the School of Business, and I also serve as the treasurer for the Alumni Association, where we help gather funds and other events to give scholarships to students.
Well, you mentioned, John, of course, that your family has a business here in District 4. You have a tortilla factory and store. And now, as you look around District 4, and I know you're familiar with the area very well, but what do you see as the most pressing need for District 4?
Okay, well, I mean, there's so many, but as you said, the most pressing, I'll try to focus on those. One just off the top of my head is our flooding. Flooding is very, very bad. I mean, minimal rains cause major flooding. There's several things the city can do to be more proactive and prevent the flooding, at least to prevent it from getting as bad. I mean, we live right next door and our business is here, so we usually sweep the corner lots, which aren't ours, but we see there at the storm drains, they're up to the top in leaves and trash, and a storm comes around, or a hurricane, and the city is just swamped with work to do, and they can't be unclogging these storm drains. So I think the city can take steps to be more proactive instead of reactive when resources are really scarce and there's no time to get to these things. So flooding is one thing that definitely needs to be looked at in District 4. I know the water's gotten so high it gets into some of the homes. It ruins some cars. And I mean, a lot of people here don't have flood insurance. So that's one thing I wanted to taken care of. Another thing that is is a pressing need here in District 4, I think, is the street conditions, and that goes hand in hand with the flooding, because the flooding leaves a lot of potholes and cracks, So even if you repave the street, it's going to flood and it's going to get ruined again. So we need to take care of the flooding. I think another need we have here is the need for more police. District 4 has a lot of, especially in the summer, a lot of the youth. They go around and break windows, break into cars, and even, I mean, with the economy being so bad, I mean, there's more need out there to take things. So what our previous commissioner did, or still current commissioner, Edward Camarillo, at least in our neighborhood, he started a neighborhood watch program. He brought the Sergeant Avita, he brought him over to our home. We had our neighbors come over, and ever since the crime rate, at least here in our local neighborhood, has gone down. We've even had some arrests made from just adding more eyes and ears to the limited police we have. So I think that's something I want to continue in other neighborhoods, and also push for more police. In talking to several officers, I made it a point to talk to the people that are out there in the front line. I asked them what they thought could be done to assist them. They said our city is divided into it's first of all divided into half, and then it's divided into 12 areas, each one manned by two police officers. Now, if the city keeps annexing areas such as Riverbend and out there towards Los Fresnos, I mean, that takes police officers away from an area that should be patrolled, and leaving this area vulnerable. I mean, a lot of times we see someone run a red light or do a hit and run, and we're like, where's the police? I mean, I wish I was a cop so I could get them. Well, that cop is probably somewhere else covering for someone else. And I think we need to make an effort to find the funding. Our budget is never going to be huge, so we have to set priorities, and police is one of them. I think those are the most pressing. I mean, aside from your regular brush pickup, and going with the brush. I mean, another thing I see a lot here in District 4 is empty lots and abandoned homes. Now we have ordinances in place, but they're not being enforced. I think that's something that needs to be a priority in District 4, because there's a lot of drug activity, or these kids set fire to the homes.
Let me ask you about something kind of related to that.
Sure.
Because downtown is part of District 4 also.
Sure.
Now, what can the city do to help merchants locate downtown and to restore some of our historic buildings?
Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked about downtown, because I mean, aside from being so close to my house, I've always been like a history junkie. I love old buildings. In DC, I just love the architecture over there, and how well it's preserved. I think we could do the same in Brownsville, and attract people that are into that. I mean, the city, I don't know if it was directly, I mean, a direct effort or indirect effort, but in moving the bus terminal, I think they're going to pump a lot of new blood into downtown Brownsville and attract businesses to the immediate surroundings, and I think that's a good start. It's not going to be enough to get the momentum going. That's where the city has to create incentives for business owners. I mean, there could be property tax incentives. One thing I've heard a lot is our building permit department. There's a lot of runarounds. We could make that process more efficient, not only for the downtown merchants and investors, for the whole city, and maybe add an incentive like lowering the permit cost for building or remodeling downtown, or even eliminating that cost. So there are several things. I know there's some things that can't be left out, and there's safety issues that can fall back on the city if we just forget about the safety concerns when remodeling. But there are some things that I think the city can assist and make downtown a more desirable place to do business.
Okay, thank you, John. Just one final question, John, and this has to do with just a general question about the way that the city has been doing business.
Okay.
What changes, if any, would you make in the way that our city commission and mayor have been doing business in the city?
Well, I'm also glad you asked that. I mean, recently and even back to a little bit back in history, there's been several instances where the city doesn't go out for several bids, and I'm talking about real bids, not just bids for the sake of saying we got bids. I mean, competitive bidding. We need that. We need to show our citizens how their tax dollars are being spent, because it is their money. It's not my money. It's not the commission's money. We have to have a process set in place and stick to it. Not just use selective. I mean, not just use it when it's to our advantage or to the company's advantage. I mean, we're tired. I think Brownsville as a whole is tired of the compadre system. We have so many more resources than our surrounding cities, yet we're almost stagnant. They're growing at an exponential rate, and to things such as this, I mean, the compadre system and buying from your friend and not going through a bidding process, that's kept us where we are for a long time, and we're due for a change.
Well, thank you very much, John, for those answers.
You're welcome,
and,
Jim.
We're, of course, visiting with John Villarreal at his family business, the La Milpa Tortilleria in Brownsville, Texas.
Thank you.